says 0% uploading? Oh, there we go. Never mind. Yeah.
All right. Hey, nerds. How's it going? This is another The Spirited Nerds. You are joining tonight Denise, Mariah, and Shauna. And tonight we're going to be talking about recast in film and TV and just sharing some thoughts that we have about some famous examples, some not so famous examples, maybe. Situations where it worked, situations where it really, really did not. If you are curious about some of the other stuff that we really like, go ahead and listen to our past episodes. All sorts of fun stuff. What is not a Christmas movie? Who is not a villain? So I think we cover some fun things from time to time that are not deep. This is one of those nights.
Yeah.
You can also Mariah, do you want to tell them where they can find us on our socials?
Yep. So you can find us on TikTok and Instagram and Facebook and Twitter. And then when you're listening to us on like Anchor or Spotify or Apple or wherever you're listening to us, you can interact with us by leaving a comment, leaving a review. Just let us know what you want to hear, what you do or do not like, and definitely interact with us on our socials as well. And if you are listening to this, we'll have to figure out a way. I say figure out, but I should probably just start posting when we're going to be doing these live recordings on those socials. And then you can watch this live as well, because there will be an unedited version out in the world for you to watch. And you can see our faces. And then you can listen to it again later. And, there might be some differences that you'll hear. So I'll put that on a list somewhere. Start posting on the socials
Yeah.
when we'll be
I was
live.
about to say, when you say we need to figure it out, you mean
Yes, I will start posting on the socials when we're going live, so then you guys can watch us as well ahead of time.
Yeah, getting our wins and our struggles live. We don't have too many podcasts where we struggle the entire some nights, and it seems to happen coastally, I would say. The East Coast, you guys have some problems, or me and Mariah have problems. It always seems to because we are bi-coastal. We're coming from the East Coast and the West Coast. So yeah, well, the other thing that we really like when we're talking about nerd stuff is have a drink. So Denise, you said about yours. You go ahead and tell us what you're up to.
I almost sound like an alcoholic. I was about to say no. I'm just excited about drinking, but that's really so. My dad recently came back on a cruise, and as anybody who cruises knows, there is one thing that you come back with in your suitcase with as a bottle when you go on a cruise ship, and that is white Hennessy. So my dad brought back a bottle of white Hennessy. What did you say?
Ugh, it is not good. I prefer just the regular Hennessy. So, anyways, sorry.
Whatever. Anyway, so before I came in here, I was just sipping it straight, but just to be a little fancy and to try. Really, Mariah?
It's not
Got
good.
opinion? This is great. This is gonna be a good one.
Sorry. You can take me out. You can take me out. I don't want to take away from Denise's drink.
Anyway, I was drinking it straight, but then I had Trader Joe's has this little pomegranate like sparkling punch stuff, so I threw it in there as a mixer to try to get back into the whole mixed cocktail drink thing. I saw recipes online and I did not go out after work and get anything I needed, so I'll try that another day. But tonight it is pomegranate, sparkling, and white Hennessy. After a few rounds of drinking it straight.
It's delicious.
Mariah, you're up.
Nice.
What are you drinking?
So last weekend we had Hurricane Hillary hit California, and I went out and I bought the ingredients for a hurricane. So that's what I'm drinking tonight. I'm drinking.
You did, and you posted it on TikTok.
A hurricane.
You know, the funny thing that I thought on TikTok was that you had to you made sure to say the drink Hillary. I made a hurricane. The drink in parentheses. I was like, I don't think we thought you from scratch made like the weather phenomenon like a hurricane, but I appreciated you calling it out for those of us who weren't sure.
I don't know, but yeah. So got the hurricane. It's light rum, dark rum, passion fruit juice, orange juice, simple syrup, which I skip because I don't really like it that sweet, and then oh my god, the red grenadine,
Grenadine.
and
There you
that's
go.
it. Super.
That's a big
They're
Scorpy cup.
really.
Where'd you get that cup from?
Oh, it's you can't see it, but it's a Toy Story claw cup, and there's like
That's
an alien at the
adorable.
bottom, and that this little thing in the middle is the actual claw. So the more that I drink, you'll get to see it exposed.
Oh, that's cool.
It's live, you can see this amazing cup, but if you're just listening in, you're missing out. So this
On
is
the white
this is
cup.
the reason, folks. This is why you join us live for
Oh,
cool cups.
Disney got her.
Yes. Well, I mean, Disney gets us, so that's no shit. I do not have a snappy drink. I'm just drinking water tonight, but that's to be expected from me, I guess, these days. Anyways, drink for me, ladies. Have one. Ugh, I miss it, but that's okay. I also sound a little bit, even though I'm not drinking. All right, so what are we talking about? Honest problems. We're talking about recasting. So this kind of came up because we've mentioned on a couple of the past, keeps kind of bubbling up around the Witcher recasting and Henry Cavill drama DC. So it's come up in the last couple of podcast episodes that we've talked about, that we've been covering. So I thought, why don't we dedicate an episode to what works and what doesn't work for us in terms of recasting? I wanted to kind of start out with what I would consider a recast and open up for you two to agree or disagree based on your own thoughts. But just so that we kind of get all aligned and, what I consider a recast versus Mariah versus Denise. So when I'm thinking about recasts, I'm thinking about recasts within that, within that very specific universe framework. If you're casting the best lists or best and worst lists for recasts, sometimes they would bring up young and old versions of this character. I don't really consider that a recast. I just consider that aging down actors in order to capture that character at different stages of not a recast. So I didn't really include that anywhere. One of the examples that came up was Emilia Clarke as being quote unquote recast from Linda Hamilton in the Terminator series, but that to me was not really cast. The to me that's not really a recast is because it's that to me also kind of felt like its own things. It's also like a reboot where a new director comes in and takes over. Like the Batmans, the Batmans we've had in our life, I don't consider them to be recasts of one another.
Yeah.
This is Dan Snyder's Batman, now this is James Gunn's Batman, etc. and so on.
Yeah.
So even the Harry with Superman, not Superman, when it comes to Superman, after James Gunn came in and kind of gutted the cast and said this is now Superman, I don't really consider as having been recasted. It would be different for me though if he rest of the original Justice League and he only recast Henry Cavill, if that makes sense. So he seems to have a whole new kind of like a reboot of sorts. He's doing his own thing, so I'm like, okay, that's fine. Henry Cavill in The Witcher though, stepping out midstream, there was planned 7 seasons, so he's only Geralt for 3, quote unquote Liam Hemsworth is now going to be Geralt if it moves forward from season 4. That to me is 100% a recast.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
So I'll stop and I'll kind of just open it up and see how are you all feeling about my own recast.
I think you're right. I think though that sometimes when it comes to recasts across different directors, it depends on if we liked the actor that was playing the person or not. So for example, when Heath Ledger was playing the Joker, I didn't care what Joker came after. I mean, of course, we had to recast him, but we were
Mm-hmm.
recasting him. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, it depends. If he was still around and
Hmm.
that version of the Joker, if Christopher Nolan's Joker was Heath Ledger, and if Snyder came in and picked another Joker, to me that would have been a recast, even if it was across different directors or whatever. Because to me, Heath Ledger is Joker.
Mm-hmm.
So um even as many Batmans as we've seen, I don't know, I have my favorites, and then I'm like, oh man, we're gonna recast him again. Superman, oh, we're gonna recast him again. But Henry Cavill will feel like a Superman to me. Like, I
Mm-hmm.
don't know, it doesn't matter how many other, James Gunn is bringing somebody else and he's recasting it, because Henry Cavill
Mm-hmm.
was right there. He's Superman to all of us. So I get what you're saying, but I feel like it just, as fans, if we have somebody and we're like, that person is this person to us. When the MCU has their Wolverine, Fox, had Hugh Jackman. If they didn't go with him, to us, it would have been a recast if they brought in another person to play Wolverine. So you have your person. As long as they do that great job, you will not see them as anybody else. That person is Wolverine, is Superman, is Batman, down the line to me. So, but I get what you're saying. The one thing where I was kind of like about was the actors and the aging, because I remember with House of the Dragon when they recasted, we were all like on pins and needles when they were going to age up like Ray and Allison. So was it Allison? What was her name?
Allison.
Her. We were just like, so I feel like that was a recast to age her up, and I know we were like, oh, that felt like a recast. It felt like a completely different person coming in, even though they were aging up. It just felt like that was a recast. But I respect your definitions of a recast.
Maybe because they weren't like aging up that much, where they could have like changed her a little bit or changed them a little bit to be a little younger or older. It wasn't like you're going from like a 6-year-old kid to a 20-year-old woman. I mean, it was within ages, and that's where it's like they have the makeup magic to make someone a little bit younger, a little bit older. But
So
overall, go ahead.
go ahead, Mariah.
No, I was just gonna say, but otherwise, like I agree. I think a recast is like in the middle of a season, in the middle of a movie. We know that there's gonna be several movies coming out, and then in the middle of the movies they switch and they change to a different actor. Like, definitely recast. But when it's maybe director to director, or we've seen, you know, someone do like one or two and then they've changed because the story's changed, like Star Trek. Obviously, there's been a ton of changes there. Like, that doesn't necessarily seem like a recast, it's just a new direction.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's it. And that's a really good example, Denise, with the young and old, like Rhaenyra. It didn't occur to me to even include it in the list, because to me they are different than a recast. If though they did a flashback and they didn't use the original actor who played young Rhaenyra, that to me would be a recast for sure, because we had an established young Rhaenyra. She's right there to your point. If they went with like a different young Rhaenyra, I'd be like, what are you doing? Especially if she was supposed to be in that like same young Rhaenyra era. So for House of the Dragon now, actually my expectation is if we're flashing back at all, I want to see the young Rhaenyra again.
I've been calling that girl Ray for so long. You were calling her Rhaenyra. I was like, who the fuck's she talking about? Who is she talking about? But yeah, you're right. No, I guess we were just calling her. I was calling her Ray Ray. So the whole time when you started calling her by her government name, I was like, who's she talking about right now? All right, but yeah.
All right, so that's kind of the framework. So we will. It sounds like we will mostly agree, but maybe have some disagreements on what's considered a recast. But that's part of this. That's part of the fun, right?
Yeah.
That I kind of wanted to talk about with you all today was when a recast happens, find it better or worse it in universe? And can you think of where they did and it kind of affected how you bought into the recast?
I think if it's going to be like a main character, if they address it, even if it's a funny joke, I think the most iconic one is going to be Aunt Viv, and that was, I mean, that wasn't even like a close, like, let's try to get someone that looks like the previous, actress. It was completely different. And I think Will Smith even makes a joke we know that we know that this is not the same.
They were like, oh, there's something about you. There's something different about you. And they all look at us.
Did they make a joke? Okay, because I don't remember the joke. I thought they just recast her and just let it go, and no one ever addressed it. So they did make a joke. Yeah. Okay, all right. Well, I mean, it still didn't work, but yeah, it still didn't work. I think anybody was like happy with that very weird abrupt transition, but
right.
Okay.
But the any smaller characters, maybe not. They weren't as significant, and usually, there's a few examples that I saw where they're pretty close in the way that they look. That there was a couple that I was like, oh yeah, they did recast that person, but they look so close in like looks that I just kind of went over my head and I didn't really like think about it. I just thought maybe they aged from season to season, but it's actually a completely different person.
The only time I could think of where it actually happened in the show, but it was actually kind of awkward, was Blue's Clues. Even though I was not Mariah, I was not target audience at all. However, I remember the day when Steve brought out, who was it, Frat Boy Joe or whoever he is. Steve is just this nerdy looking skinny.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I just want to let's go solve mysteries together. And then he brought out Joe. Joe is like 6 feet taller than him, dark hair, like younger. Just, I was like, who is this kid? Steve, don't leave me.
Yeah.
So that handoff, trying to do that, and then them standing side by side, they just looked completely different. It just threw it off. And he tried to do like that, pass the torch on air. Maybe it worked for the kids. I have no idea. Their brains aren't fully formed, got that soft spot still, so they probably were all in for it. I, however, was not fooled. I did not. I was not a fan, and in the addressing it in the moment transition for me was mm-mm.
That's a weird, like, a handoff. Like,
wasn't it? You probably didn't watch it. Did you watch it?
No, but I know like what you mean. Like, I definitely watched the original, like, Blue's Clues and stuff. Yeah. So it was like, a weird. All right, this is.
It was because he was like, Steve was like, I'm off to college or some shit. I don't even remember what it was. I just remember being like,
that's what it was
happening right now. Yeah, and he brought this kid in who is younger and taller and bigger, and I was like, what's going on? Are they writing you off the show? Why are you leaving?
Other one, I guess what a deep. That's one where I guess I just blocked it out. I totally like, I was one of those kids like, did he die? What happened? Like, he was here yesterday and now he's gone.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Maybe they only just found out that he's alive and actually did just go to college. But I feel like I don't remember the standoff at all. But I just remember it being like, where the fuck did that guy go? Gone? Did he die?
It was in episode. It happened. And I was like, I don't like this.
I bought right into, like, he just died. Well,
he went out to college, so he wasn't dead. So,
not to trust my memory on most of these. So this is the common theme so far. Sean with recasts, and I don't. Oh wow!
The recast, the original person is dead to Shauna.
They're just gone. They're just gone. Oh my gosh. Okay. So the reason that I brought up this question particularly too is because I don't know if anybody else watched it, but there was a show on CW a couple years back called Crazy Ex-Girlfriend, and it's so good. There's 4 seasons. It's very easy to get through. It's a complete story. It was meant to be 4 seasons. So anyways, it's excellent. Last season, they recast one of her, like, main boyfriends, 3 seasons. And it went from the guy, his name is like the funniest Italianist it's like Fontino Santana or Santina Fontana. I don't know. The point is that he is the voice of Prince Hans in Frozen. From him to like Skylar Austin, who was in Pitch Perfect. So they don't look alike. They had to cast somebody who could sing because the whole show is a musical. So they had to cast somebody who could like sing and work with this like very comedic cast.
Yeah.
And the way that they addressed it in universe, what the fuck? I love the original Greg. This kind of sucks. But what they did was they had a musical number where they very meta song that was all like, "It's nice to meet you," and they did a whole bunch of like little meet cutes to kind of recap. But they also framed it like everybody else in the show was like, "Yeah, of course that's Greg. What are you talking about?" And the main character, Rebecca, was the only one who didn't recognize him. And they were like, "That's because you didn't see him for who he was before. You didn't see this whole idea of who he was." And it kind of, so they kind of just played with how you see people in your life, and they kind of like wove that through. This whole just one on like this duet about getting to know each other again through various meet cutes, and it worked. It won me over in a song. I was like, I'm on it. This is so well done.
That's funny.
And as we've just learned, that's hard to do for me.
Yeah.
So I this, but it really worked. But then I was starting to think all the times that it didn't work. So yeah, I think that when it comes to recast, I do appreciate when they address it in verse, but it has to be done well.
Yeah.
Like,
I feel like the only time
think
they
it's
could
hard,
address
but
it is when it was like amicable and maybe mutual. Like if it was a
Yeah.
bad just release, they're not gonna address it. Like
No.
we talked about Back to the Future in the Flash episode. I'm pretty sure, and maybe they did. I don't know. Would they have addressed it in the movie because it wasn't a good parting? You know what I mean? Or
Yeah.
I mean, I guess the Fresh Prince found a way to do it, but to the viewers, it wasn't. At the time when I watched it, it wasn't funny to me. I didn't
Oh,
appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like they did it. It wasn't funny. I didn't like it. I didn't understand what was going on. I wanted the old Aunt Viv back. Who the fuck is this? And you all are making jokes about it. So I feel like if it is amicable and we're gonna part ways on mutual feelings, do it in universe. Otherwise, just don't address it. Just insult my intelligence and act like you won't know a thing. This is all a dream, like the hypnotized, like
Yeah.
this is
Well,
all
now it's obviously all public, and just like
Exactly,
so now it's
social
like so
media.
either you're gonna continue to watch it because you know, or
Yeah.
you're not because you're just so loyal to the other actress. So
Yeah, because I guess I hear Witcher fans are like already planning to boycott it or whatever. I don't know how true that is, or if it's
oh,
even
that
gonna happen.
happened about 5 minutes of the announcement. Like,
I haven't gone
and-
back to watch the new season, and maybe a part of it is because I know it's
They're
like, what's
why
the
am I?
point?
What for? Because they're about.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
about to be. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and I did
Poor
watch the last
Liam.
season.
He didn't sign up for any of this.
I do feel bad for Liam because he did not sign up for the hate,
Right.
and they went straight passing the torch. Like, I am passing the torch. He has my blessing. All this, but like
Right.
immediately people were like, "This is bullshit," and I'm not going to watch after season 3. And all of the ratings, etc., all the numbers say that no one really did. Very few people watched season 3. I'm one of them. I'm amongst them. But they also said that they were going to address the recast in a funny and make it flow with the story. And so people were expecting to see that at the end of season 3. And spoiler, you don't. Geralt is still Henry Cavill season 3. So I don't know how they're gonna do this at the beginning. When, for all that we know, he's done filming.
Is it too late to just put him back on the show?
Yeah, well, I guess maybe not thinking of like what's the reason, like with the bat. I mean, Netflix is known to just cut a show. I mean, why would they continue to keep something and people aren't going to watch it?
Oh yeah, no, Netflix is really fucking cutthroat now, especially with the strike. Netflix might just do that. Netflix might just say, "Yeah, we don't actually need all 7 seasons." Like, if
7 seasons.
numbers. Yeah, it's supposed to be 7. It was always seasons.
Just bring Henry back.
Unless they can do a good transition on the first episode of 4 where like I don't
can't.
know, he dies or a new Witcher emerges or something, and then they can really make it strong for one season. But I just don't see. I don't know.
Wasn't his sole purpose for leaving was to go do the Superman stuff, right? Or am I wrong on
Well,
that?
we don't know. There's a lot of like, and so
Oh,
people
goodness.
assumed, like fans assumed, I'm bowing down as Witcher, that meant he was going back to the Snyderverse. Like people just assume,
Right.
or back to be Superman. That's what everybody assumed. They're like, oh, he's gone to get that Superman. He didn't say that, but that's what we all thought, and we kind of all, and then it was a little bit like all of the other I think all the other casting and DC, or like the meetings were happening, so we like, it was like Ben Affleck's coming back, and so I think we were all kind of primed for that, and Henry back. But then I swear it was like the same week where he went, actually just talk to James Gunn and I'm not Superman either, so bye. And everyone was like, what the fuck? And so people did start saying like, come back as Witcher. Why the fuck are we stuck with Liam? Well, like, why are we why
that doesn't
Lesser Hemsworth here?
Oh, that hurts. I feel like that's a form of bullying. Sorry, Liam.
Okay, one of my favorite things ever is when somebody asked Chris Hemsworth who the second most famous Hemsworth was, and his answer was Miley Cyrus.
Wow.
And I feel like that's amazing. I was so proud of him in that moment. I was like, that's fucking awesome. Brothers too, like, well, Miley. Like, Miley is my second most famous sibling for him. But no, I do also feel now that's come out with Liam Hemsworth and Miley drama. He actually was accusing Miley Cyrus of costing him the role at The Witcher because of her song Flowers, which is like, okay, well, now you're bringing that on yourself. That's the fucking stupidest thing I've ever heard. So there has been a little bit of behind the scenes on whether or not his role will move forward. There has been some talk about how war is on pause, but also it's kind of hidden amongst the strike. So the future of The Witcher is uncertain because of this recap.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
One move can just bring it all back and make it work for 7 seasons. But who am I? You know.
Well, the other weird thing is, and again, because I watched the 3rd season, so how they were moving the pieces around and trying to make Geralt less the guy of the show, trying to make Ciri and Yennefer and that relationship a little bit more of a driving force. They're trying a little bit to kind of torch onto Ciri to make her be more of the focus. But then also watching I felt so bad for the cast promotions too. The cast promotions for season 3 were so hard to watch, those poor people, because Henry wasn't there. Henry wasn't involved in like promoting a lot of season 3. He went to like and stuff, but he didn't do a lot of the sit down media tours. But the 3 Ciri, Yennefer, and Jaskier did, and at some point somebody did ask him, like, so how's it going with Liam? Like, you together yet? Have you like? And they were like, well, we've shared some emails. I'm sorry, you haven't even had like a chemist person? Yeah. What the fuck is happening? You haven't even been in the same room as the person that will be your co-star? This is insane. I thought that chemistry were like a whole thing, but apparently not in this case.
As I'm listening to you talk, I have never watched this show, so I feel like I'm riding really hard for Henry Cavill. Never watched this show. I haven't even seen the opening intro, so I have no skin in the game.
That's fair.
So, yeah.
I think I probably watched enough for everybody.
Yeah.
But again, that was one of why we were going to do this episode. So
I know we're going to get into castings that we loved and we hated, but it was interesting that as I was like kind of going through some stuff, I saw some close calls. I know in your, I don't think you touched on this in what you don't consider a recast. And in your notes, you said you don't consider pre-production moves a recast. But
that's true. I skipped that.
You did skip that, but I didn't call them pre-productions. I called them close calls because I did find some recasts where I was like, damn, if this recast wasn't done, then this iconic person in this iconic role, we almost missed out on them because of some moves that were made. And the one, there were three that I have. One of them though was one that we just touched on. Didn't know this was a fun fact for me. I'm sure you know all about it, Shauna. Is that we almost did not have Vigo for Lord of the
We
Rings.
almost did not. We Stuart Townsend was cast originally, was kind of written to be Aragorn, and then he got on set, started like meshing and was not meshing well and wasn't pulling it off. And so at the very last minute, Vigo Morton, and he is our Aragorn now.
Gosh, that dedication, all of the
Mm-hmm.
injuries, all of
Mm-hmm.
the swordsmanship. We almost had none of it because
Buying the
you
horse
know
for the horse trainer? That was the sweetest move ever.
sure, yeah, almost didn't have any of it because Vigo almost didn't take that role. To another one I saw,
Mm-hmm.
Wolverine. Hugh Jackman was not the first choice to play Wolverine. I didn't even take. I forgot to write down the man's name. I was just shocked to see that like Wolverine again, iconic person. I don't think I can mentally see someone else playing Wolverine other than Hugh Jackman. So the fact that he wasn't even the first choice for it just blew my mind. And then
He was really known for musicals and stuff. Like nobody knew him as an action star. He was the guy who sings on and stuff.
never seen him in any musical. However, I know. I don't know. Haven't seen him. He was in Les Mis, right? Les Miserables.
Wow, you
Miserables.
all of that. You could just call it Les Mis.
Les
People
Mis.
know.
He was in Les Mis. I don't know what else he was in. I just remember Les Mis. And then Mike Myers, your Canadian cousin, almost didn't make it as Shrek. They actually had Chris Farley as the voice of Shrek at first. And look at Mariah. However, we all know, unfortunately, passed due to overdose or whatever. But yeah, so Mike Myers' iconic role of Shrek was not their first choice for Shrek.
Yeah,
So
Chris
I
Farley
I know
recorded the entire movie. He was done with Chris Farley, and then they shelved it for a couple of years trying to figure out what the fuck.
That's wild. And then I
That's
think
why I was gonna say that's why when you watched the Shrek originally, like the jokes, now it probably doesn't occur to anybody, but the jokes from Shrek were a couple of years old. They weren't as like cutting edge culture jokes. They were like, oh babe, that came out actually like 5 years ago, not 2 years ago. So they were good, but if you weren't watching it like when it was released, you would
right.
never be able to tell the difference between those few years.
That's crazy to me. Yeah, I had no idea. So yeah, I know you called them pre-production recast, but these I just call it close calls because I was like, whew.
well, even we talked about the Flash, the whole Eric Stoltz Back to the Future joke.
Yes. Yeah. I
Another
didn't include that one
pre-production.
because again, my I guess my nerd card is revoked because I've never seen the Back to the Future, but but I've seen these movies, so I
I've only
included them.
seen like the first one. I think we've got to get a list of movies that we've never seen and watch them. And I will say, I think
Like
we've talked
Twilight.
about for content purposes, I will sit through Twilight.
You will sit through
Oh.
Twilight.
For the entertainment value, I will.
Oh no.
My heart just fluttered, Shauna. You can do it. We can do it.
But I
Second
also
part,
think we got to
spooky
do
season.
Harry
Let's do it,
Potter.
guys. Spooky season. I haven't seen Harry Potter either.
So that's the one I think that we could do. That's
Harry
that's
Potter's
a
too
long
long.
series.
15 movies.
Yeah.
We just start with Twilight. Let's get our feet
Okay.
wet. Spooky season is here.
Oh no. Oh, Denise, you won't say. You're not gonna have fun.
We will. I promise. We'll make it fun. We will make it fun.
We
Okay,
won't. We won't have fun.
Saying it here, saying it live, I'll commit. If that's what we choose
Twilight.
to
We're
do.
doing it.
One of you still need to gain favor from. That's. I don't know if we're gonna have any fun doing that. I don't have a lot of
And
nice things
David's
to
probably
say.
seen all of them, to be honest. Oh, and speaking of David, because yes, he's not here tonight. He has a fantasy football draft, right? And he told us he has things to do, which is fine. Fantasy football, it's a money league. I get it. I was telling Mariah and Shauna before that the universe looked out for us and did a little get back. and that he was in my kitchen and a spider like was crawling near his foot, and he starts doing the get off me dance even though the spider wasn't on him. And apparently, I don't know what happened, but he accidentally very early in the draft drafted Kirk Cousins as his quarterback, and he blames it on the spider because he did not mean to draft Kirk Cousins. So I feel like there was a
Is
little
he
get back.
yelling from the kitchen?
Oh,
We're hearing you and yelling at
he
you.
was staring at his phone, screaming Kirk Cousins, and he blamed it on the spider. I was like, it was not the spider's fault because he was trying to kill the spider, and I was like, we're not killing the spider. And
This
then something happened.
Lob's revenge.
Yes. And then something
Yeah.
happened. He didn't have a fourth round pick, or I don't know what happened, but the Kirk Cousins thing, I feel like the universe had our back on that one. So
Yeah, this is 100% Shelob's revenge because that
Shelob's
scared
revenge.
shit out of all of us. And he was like, she wasn't that bad. You guys were overselling it. Well, now
Oh, she
look what you
heard that.
get.
Yeah.
She
That was
did.
the
She
tiniest
said,
spider I'd ever seen in my life. And you should have seen the dance he did to get that spider off of him. I was like, it's not even on you, first of all. Second of all, it
I
is
love
so tiny. So yeah. Yeah. All right. Sorry for that little
That's all right.
sidebar, but
That's a good one. That's a good sidebar.
yeah.
Well, I appreciate your thoughts on me, and I did put it in the notes, and I didn't put it in my rundown at the top. If I didn't see them on screen, it's not really a recast for me. But that all probably go through so many people who almost got the role,
Oh
except
yeah.
especially now we hear all about it, like the final three, the top three. So I don't. But I guess that also is a little bit different than this role was written for them, and then they. I think to Emily Blunt was almost Black Widow. Then it went to Scarlett Johansson. She passed up on the project because of Edge of Tomorrow or some other movie contract that she had. She couldn't commit to the original.
Yeah.
Would you have preferred Emily Blunt?
I think she's too silly.
But
Mariah's like,
all
get
right.
the fuck out of here.
Yeah, Mariah.
Serious thing of life.
Mariah.
Right? Let me make sure I'm thinking of the right actress before I say that. Yeah, no, she's too silly for me.
Mariah said, assassin where? Not here.
But I remember too when Scarlett Johansson got cast, that like there was backlash too because she had never been in kind of an action role.
Yeah.
She was always just weird,
Yeah.
bombshelly, and like very pigeonholed. So for her,
He's
to get
not
the
that
role,
into you. That's like,
yeah, people were exactly.
You know that meme where it's just like, there's just nothing behind those eyes. That is how I feel every time I look at Scarlett. I'm like,
Oh.
what are you, I do? I can't. What's happening right now?
Oh,
You're just reading
so wait,
words.
so would you have wanted Emily Blunt? Are we asking the right question here?
I would have wanted anyone other than Scarlett Johansson. And we'll get to like recasting thoughts at the end of it because I have a little thing I did. But
Okay.
yeah, and when I look at Scarlett as like again, assassins have this look in their face and their eyes to me, and she just doesn't have it. I don't know. I love Florence Pugh as, a Black Widow. But Scarlett as just the lead one or the main one, I'm like, ooh, I don't know. But yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. My thoughts.
yeah, I think they could have gone with. I mean, even the girl that plays like the sister. I don't know the actress's name.
Florence.
That
The blonde
is
girl,
that
right?
who it is?
Yeah, in the movie.
Yeah, she's our new widow.
Oh yeah. Okay, yeah, like even her. But I think of course they had to go with like a big name or something. And...
Yeah, the way she chased down Kate Bishop in Hawkeye and just was making jokes about it, but was still very serious. Like she scared me. Charlize Theron scares me. Scarlett Johansson,
Yeah.
I'm just like, there's nothing behind those eyes. I don't buy it.
That's true what you say about Charlize is a badass.
Listen,
she gives zero fucks.
Mm-hmm.
I like that about her.
Yeah.
It's taken me some time to appreciate that about her. I really respect that.
Right. Yep.
Okay, cool. Excellent. That was another one. Sidebar. So yeah, I guess there's So we're going to talk kind of wish list of recasting at the end because Denise is hiding things. It's not on the notes. Make time.
Yeah. I did my own little activity.
You did. I'm
I
not
did.
surprised though. You do bring the
I
quizzes from time to time just to shake things up.
You love a
Charlie, you know
good
what it is.
quiz.
SDI, like with
Yeah.
at work, like the whole thing. I'm very green. I'm processed. I do that research. So I just fell into a rabbit hole of just recasting information.
You're in it.
So we'll get into it later. But yes.
All right. All right. So stay tuned for that. Now, there are circumstances where a recast is completely, like, you really can't work around it, or I mean, I guess there are ways to work around it, but generally if an actor passes away during or before filming, between filming, like the creative team has to make a decision. How pivotal was this character? Move forward, especially if it's mid film.
Right.
And Mariah, you had totally forgot about, which is Heath Ledger was filming. Can you for me the Imaginarium of what?
Yeah, the Imaginarium of Dr. Parnassus.
Because it looked like they replaced Heath with 3 people.
Yeah, and they ended up, because of the way the movie was already about, they were able to really transition, us to believing that these other Dr. Parnassuses were just him, like our version of him in a different world. So they were able to really blend it well and, kind of not lose out on the movie with him for that.
Because, like, exactly as you said, like they have to make a choice of that. Like, we need to keep this production moving forward. Yeah. We're so many dollars in. We, how do we deliver on this? And you have you have limited options. I mean, more and more, especially now with the strike, I guess it's a little bit more pertinent. But now more and more, we're seeing like CGI back from the dead type of situation, or another example was Philip Seymour Hoffman in, I think it's Mockingjay. He died before the end of filming. They didn't recast him, but they CGI'd his. They kind of like reworked the final scenes, and then they kind of like CGI'd his final scene.
That's like that.
But you couldn't, like, again though. I don't know what else they could have really done. They reworked it well enough. They had a different character deliver kind of his final scenes in a different way, but they were at the end of a trilogy. Recasting would have been at that point, like that would have had a lot of backlash.
So is this the recasting that you thought worked, Mariah, or that you hated?
No, I think it worked.
Okay.
And it worked well with having a recast because of a death.
Okay.
Yeah, no, it was a great example. It didn't occur to me. I had not seen the movie. I just didn't even occur. But that was a really good example.
Yeah.
For me, that came up was recasting Dumbledore after the third film in Harry Potter.
I didn't know. I mean, I knew because I heard about it, but
had a long beard on.
They did a good job. I mean,
and I would have got me fooled.
I was fooled.
Yeah, I had no idea.
That so controversial at the time. People were so mad. Michael, to me, the fact that you could not tell the difference between those two. Yes.
I was a young child.
We knew, I was older. I was older, so we all knew that and there was a question of who will play Dumbledore. But when they brought in Michael Gambon, he played Dumbledore so differently, and Richard Harris just had the essence of the soft-spoken, older Dumbledore, and the new guy came in and he was just walls and yelling all the time, and he was just raucous, and fans were like, "What the fuck is happening?" So I think over time, and 20 years later, people are like, "Oh, it's fine. The first guy died, so you got to." In context, at the time, that was really hard to take.
Which movie was it that he started?
3. So.
Oh, Okay.
You shouldn't have told her. I wanted to see if she could see it. Like when we watch it, but like Mariah, when do you notice a difference in Dumbledore? Now she knows. Hopefully she'll
I
forget.
don't know how you couldn't though.
Well, I think
It-
that 4, 5, 6 or the part twos were not really my favorites, so I don't really. I think I just really liked number 1, and then I liked 2, and then I kind of.
So you've seen Harry Potter?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
thought you said you hadn't seen it.
I have, but I think I like skipped like 4, maybe 5, but then I have seen the last part twos. I don't know.
Okay.
It's a lot happening, but I've seen them. I've seen enough.
But you didn't notice.
No.
Oh, okay. So they're it worked.
They're old
The
and they
recast
have
worked.
beards and.
That's what I'm saying.
Well-
You put a wizard hat, a long robe, and a.
But the original one definitely has an essence about him, like a very
Yes.
nice, like soft. It just,
Yes.
he really does capture Dumbledore.
Absolutely.
We should put Ian in there and giving him a real taste of what a wizard playing a wizard is like. So
I'll tell you what, people did wonder. People were like, are we just going to get Gandalf? Because that was around the same era where we'd just seen him as Gandalf. So people were like, we'll just get Gandalf back. But not big deal. But the other thing that happened in between movies 2 and 3 for that Christopher Columbus directed. So 1 and 2 are very similar in tone anyway. And then Alfonso came in and did 3. So the whole film, the look, the feel, everything from 2 to 3 was way, way different. So that could be why watching it later or you were a little bit younger, you were just like, oh, Dumbledore for the new look and feel of the series. Could have also like played a part of for some people, but yeah, that was tough.
Recasting.
Yes.
Recastings that we loved, right?
Or like an example of when an actor passed and it really worked.
Oh well. Even though we kind of recast, it didn't really recast Chadwick and the Black Panther, replacing her like a soft recast with Shuri. I don't think that worked for me, and I know it followed like one of the story arcs where she did pick up the mantle and was the Black Panther. I really wish we recasted him with the Black Panther.
That's an awesome, because I mean that wasn't that long ago, and it's still debated, right? Like people were still debating that role should have been recast because it wasn't his family saying please recast, like don't lose Black Panther. Chadwick, he would know that it's bigger than him.
Yeah, and I think the compromise on recasting him was to give it to Shuri. But I really do wish we would have recasted him. And I think with his son, maybe they're toying with the fact that he'll pick up the mantle later on down the line. But I wish that we had that immediate person right now. But that's just me.
Yeah. Because I think they didn't recast Black Panther for like that. Yeah. That was a passing of the man. They didn't recast Black Panther.
Exactly. Right. Yeah.
Any other?
Is it just
I think so.
People that passed or recast that we liked?
You really want to get there, huh? So I guess
we were there. But
I don't think there's been like a lot.
Because I have something that I like, but I know Sean. But I was looking at the notes and I saw Mariah's, but I thought hers was just in general. I realized Heath is unfortunately no longer with us.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah,
we can move on. I just wonder.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just because those ones are. I'm not always, but I think to me the choices that the creative team has to make when your actor is.
Yeah.
I mean, even watching one of the main characters passed after filming. So I'm kind of already watching it, and it's like this is his last performance. But what are they going to do with this character moving forward? So I mean, Ahsoka's pretty new, so I won't say more than that. But again, though, because how we get news is different, and we get it.
Yeah.
As soon as we hear that, we go, oh, what projects are they involved in, and how are they going to move forward? And so we're invested in Recast way before we actually see it come now. That's the other reason that the Witcher stuff really blew everybody away, because there was no indication of that happening, and all of a sudden it was just announced. And so it totally blew people back. It was wild. It's hard to keep a secret like that in nowadays. All right, but Denise really wants to talk about.
No, if everybody's finished, I apologize. I just want to make sure that I'm following the notes.
No, yeah, I think that's it. I don't think there's been a lot of death, like recast. I mean, so I think we covered, like the big ones.
There's been a lot of dead to me recasts that should happen, like Ezra, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess we'll put the
mid-production.
Because there's talk about that too.
Yeah.
Oh, like before we go on, but because speaking of Ezra, I think I brought this up when we were talking about the Flash. Grindelwald. So DC is under Warner Brothers. Harry Potter, Warner Brothers too. So part of the reason that people were saying, like, Warner Brothers, why are you backing Ezra so hard, was with the Fantastic Beasts theory, or they've had 3 actors playing Grindelwald. The first one was Colin. Everyone was like, "This is great. He's going to be gritty." And also, if I don't think it's a spoiler at this point, but like Grindelwald and Dumbledore are lovers. So this is a lovers to enemies to lovers to enemies kind of story. So when you casted Colin Farrell with Jude Law, it was like, oh, okay. And then all of a sudden, it was Johnny Depp, fucking weird wig and contacts, and you were like, this makes no sense. And I'm way less seeing a romance with Jude Law and Johnny Depp. But then her trial came out and all of that stuff, and she lost, I think, her Mira. So DC was like, we're not going to have Mira. And also Johnny Depp was put aside as Grindelwald. Now it's Mads Mikkelsen. So now we have another Grindelwald. And once again, you're like, this is just a wild, weird ride. Yeah. Why do we keep recasting Grindelwald every movie? There's not going to be any believability that he has this love story when we've not seen the same actor play him for more than one movie. But Ezra's still the Flash, and so that was another reason. That was another area where fans were like, this is just wildly inconsistent.
Is that in the Harry Potter universe?
Yeah.
Oh.
But it's Fantastic Beasts, so it's like the prequels.
And these are movies?
Yeah.
Yes. It's the Fantastic Beasts and where to find them.
Okay.
There's like movies at this point. Maybe 4, but definitely. Mm-hmm.
God damn. I don't know where I've been. I'm sorry.
It's okay. I just recapped it, so we're good. Okay, now let's give Denise the floor. Denise, what are some things you want to talk about?
My favorite recap. Okay. I have thoughts. Okay, so first I'm gonna get the easy one out the way. The Simpsons. White men should not play voices that are not of white characters. So they did the right thing and they recasted the people of the characters of color with people of color, so that Hank Azaria is not voicing Dr. Hibbert. He's not voicing Apu. He's not voicing some of the characters on the show that were non-white. We got some people in Bumblebee Man. We got some characters in there, so they're the diversity in the cast. Excellent. Arrested Development. Genius idea before the show even started that Anna Veal she was a forgettable person. She's in the background. We're going to replace her every so often with characters as a fucking joke. Hilarious, because she's forgettable. She's going to fade in the background every time. We're going to replace her as a joke to see if you even notice that we're replacing her. But they replaced her they recasted her once, and then I can't remember the character that the actress that played. I'm not really good with names. I apologize.
Mae Whitman? I could be way off. I don't know.
We'll go with that.
Anyways, hilarious.
But she did such a great job. I know she said that that was kind of, she doesn't know whether to take that as a compliment or an insult, but she did
Yeah,
such a great job at being forgettable that they just kept her. But their entire plan from jump was just to keep recasting this person as an inside joke to and
that
I think that is
is
hilarious. The show is
excellent.
hilarious in general, but that is a
That's
hilarious move
excellent.
on their part. Yes, my last one, and I promise, I love Seinfeld. Love it. I went back and I rewatched Seinfeld from the beginning. And if you watch it from the beginning, you'll notice that two of the characters are different as they go along, and them being the dads. So Morty and Frank, Jerry's dad and George's dad, are actually were actually recasted to Jerry Stiller, and then I don't know the gentleman who played Morty, who he is, but
Yeah.
in the earlier seasons they were just
Yeah.
people that faded in the background, just listened to their wife, just yes, they kind of just weren't there, but they were recasted with these characters, especially Jerry Seinfeld or Jerry
Hmm.
Stiller, who is very
Mhm.
over the top, very vocal,
Yep.
very festivus, kind
Mhm.
of like kind of a thing. So
Festivus for the rest of us.
yeah, they came more in the forefront
Yeah.
with these
Hmm.
characters. They were more in your face and not so laid back. So those that recast made those recurring actors definitely more recurring characters more interesting to me. So
Yeah.
my
Nice.
favorite recasts. Yes,
Those are good ones.
I took this assignment seriously.
I know you did. I know you always do, Denise.
Thank you.
Denise is not one to slack on reading the notes and doing her research. So,
You give me an assignment and I'm on it.
How Virgo of you?
how Virgo of her. Amazing. Right? Do you
And
have
then
any
me, on the other hand,
recap?
just floating along.
You are. I am envious of people that can flow along. When we did our live, at the panel, David was like, "I don't need notes. I just float right along." Meanwhile, I typed my notes out. I printed them out. I had them on hand. Like I needed to make sure I hit all my points. Like I am envious of people that can just go with the flow because I not only have my notes on my phone, I have them on paper. Like
Excel
Yeah,
sheet.
I yes. So
them highlighted and underlined and color
oh my gosh.
coded.
There's really no reason for me to write them out other than I just was worried that my phone, I don't know, something would happen to my phone. But
Fun.
So
Yeah.
I
Right. How
wouldn't say
about
like this is like my favorite, like great, but one that I really, really love, Don Cheadle. So I
you?
in
Oh
the
yeah.
switch with Terrence Howard
Hmm.
as Rhodes, I think that was just a really great swap. Like just Don Cheadle is
Hmm.
just an amazing actor, and I mean he just really just goes with it. And I didn't even care like that there was a switch or even really think of like
Hmm.
it just Terrence Howard just didn't bring it as much as Don Cheadle does.
okay,
Yeah.
interesting.
I'm mad for Don Cheadle after watching. But again, apparently nobody watched it, so I'll leave it there. But I'm mad for
Okay.
him. That's another really great. That's a good example. How do you all feel? You may or may not have strong opinions about this one, but how do you feel about Holmes to Maggie Gyllenhaal in The Dark
Listen,
Knight?
listen. I don't know why you didn't think we would have strong feelings about that. I cannot stand looking at Maggie Gyllenhaal.
Okay.
That face, that voice, that body language. When that bitch blew up, let her
She's
go.
kind of annoying.
Let her go.
I
I
agree.
I I didn't know that you
So
had that
for me, put
strong.
that in the column of recast that didn't work. But I'm glad if because if they kill, I don't think I could have seen Katie Holmes get killed off. So if she
Okay.
was recast and you were the end game was a blow her up, let it. I'm happy with it.
Uh,
Why did you
the
think
in,
we were going to have feelings about that?
I don't know. For me, I did not feel super strongly about that recast either way, so I didn't know if I was kind of exemplary. But I also know, not exemplary, but like just kind of average on that point. But according to the internet, a lot of that worked and really liked the recast, and I was kind of like, huh, I didn't know anybody felt that strongly about it. But
Here's the thing. I didn't love Katie Holmes either, but I didn't realize how much I didn't. I'm not a Maggie Gyllenhaal fan
hmm,
until they
Yeah.
recasted her. And I said, yeah, I
Mhm.
absolutely not.
Hmm,
I don't know. Brian, did you have
that's fair.
thoughts on Maggie
No,
Gyllenhaal?
I agree that she's annoying. Like they're I don't know if it's the voice or mannerisms, but yeah, I don't I could do without her. But then again, I can't say that like I thought was like amazing about Kitty Holm. Maybe they just need to pick a whole other actress.
That entire scene where he has to try to figure out where to go and pick the right person in the right room, and she's just, if you just have to, and then all of a sudden she blows up. I was like, yes, yes. So it might have just been me and Mariah cheering in America, but I was excited when he picked Harvey to save. So
Well, he didn't really. He didn't pick Harvey. He picked Rachel, but
what?
Joker outplayed him. Right?
Either way, I'm just excited she blew up. But at the end of the day, she's gone.
The Joker outplayed him because also he had Harvey where he thought that
Yeah,
Batman
you're
would
right.
assume Rachel was.
All I remember
So
is her voice
yeah.
on the phone just saying, and because she knew she was going to get saved. Hell
It's
no, you
true.
didn't.
She
So,
did. She thought he outplayed
yeah,
everybody.
because
God
you heard
damn,
it in
he
her
was such
voice.
a good joke. That was so good.
Oh my God, it was so
R.I.P.
good.
Heath Ledger.
Mm,
Yeah.
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 the best.
I don't think that I have any recasts right now that I thought were like these are the ones that worked really. But I think that's kind of a recurring theme for me. uh, but they definitely like it. It takes a lot to win cast, so I guess that's not a surprise.
So then you have recasts that you hated.
Yeah, let's hear those.
I
Let's
mean, I
go.
think I've already right like the
What?
Dumbledore recast. I didn't really like
Yeah.
the fucking ongoing recasting of Grindelwald isn't.
Okay.
I just like things like that. I like the I haven't seen his work yet. I don't want to bully him just to protect Denise's feelings. I will refrain. But the Liam choice.
My feelings? I mean, the only feeling I have is that I feel bad for Henry. I don't. Oh, Liam.
You,
Yeah, I don't like how y'all are
Liam.
bullying him. Y'all
I
are
know.
being
So
mean to
I
him.
so
I
I
don't
said
know
I
if we're
wouldn't
bullying
to
Liam
protect your
or if we're just
feelings.
really disappointed it's not Henry.
But I
The
feel
whole
like
thing is
Liam
fucked.
goes to bed every night just upset, knowing that no one wants him to do this role. That has to
He
hurt.
didn't have to accept. He could back out now. He can say, I want Henry to have it since he's not Superman anymore.
But
Has he?
And
No.
also,
at the end of the day, he's backing out, knowing that no one wants him to have this role, and that to me is
Exactly.
sad.
That's honorable. You back out. No one
Yeah.
wants you. Let Henry have it again.
I'm 100% with you,
Oh.
Denise. Until he
I think
started
more
trying to
people would like
blame.
Liam.
I he started saying that Miley was the one who was costing him this role,
Well,
and that's when
I
I
didn't
was
know
like,
any of
man
that.
the fuck up. No,
I didn't hear any
no.
of that. So, yeah,
Costing you acting roles, you dummy. No,
I
don't do
agree.
that. That
Right.
is some petty shit. So
Hmm.
that is when, you know what, bully this man out of the room. I don't give a shit. If he's going to try to lay this at Miley Cyrus's door, no.
It's
I don't
just
even
it's
stand.
it's
I don't
the
even
the,
stand
the
Miley, to be honest. I just feel like that's very cowardly behavior. Like, don't be a
that's
coward, Liam.
displacement.
Yeah,
It's just
that is.
displacement. He's just upset. You all are being mean to him. Oh
Coward.
my god.
Okay, that's all I'll say.
Mariah, what about you? Do you have any recastings that you're like, "Ugh"?
No,
No?
not that I'm like up in arms about. I think the Henry one. I mean, I think that's probably like the biggest like one kind of in the moment. But I think a lot of the recastings are all these like background actors, and they don't
Mm-hmm.
mean they have roles and speaking roles, but they just weren't significant enough that it flowed fine to change them.
Gotcha.
Looking at a lot of the lists when I was like trying to think of like, oh, what are some recasts? It turns out Game of Thrones recasted basically everyone who wasn't
Had
a
no
named
fucking
But
idea.
character,
didn't even
and I
know.
had no. It makes
Yeah,
sense that I didn't know, but it also makes sense as to what some views. Like when Beric Dondarrion comes back, I was like, who the fuck is that guy? It's because we didn't see him get sent away. We got to see some other random fucking dude get sent away as Beric. But he comes back and like, but it was just part of Game of Thrones. So many names were being thrown all the time that it was like, well, maybe I did just miss it, and that's fine.
That and the time
Yeah.
in between seasons. Sometimes it wasn't
Yeah.
very standard. Like years had gone by. So yeah, it could have been a whole new person, and you had no idea. A, you were just excited the show was back on, and then B, yeah, some of these characters you were like, ooh.
Yeah, or like we saw.
You can't spend much time on that.
Yeah, or like we saw the Tommen as the king who outs himself. We also see him die as just like random Lannister kid number 2. So like he was recasted within the same universe.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
He was like random Lannister cousin number 2, and like his death actually was part of what kicked off the war. Starks, but then he was later recast as Tommen, and the kid who was Tommen is just gone. So like it just that whole Thrones just zero fucks on casts and recasts apparently.
I mean, at the end of the day, the recasting there was not the issue. So I mean,
that's true. There were bigger fish to fry with that one. 100%. 100%.
Yeah.
So that to me those all fall under like forgettable. But go ahead.
The one I hated, not in the nerd world, but I guess if you're a baking nerd, it's in the baking nerd world. Great break. Oh my god. Okay, let me get the hints.
The Great British Break.
Yes. Holy fucking shit.
Mariah, you're muted, but you have feelings.
She is. Mariah's muted, but look at her. She knows what to say. She didn't even be mean to be muted, but look at her. So, replacing
the host.
Replacing Prue with Mary. I'm not gonna say I hated that. I got it. It's okay. I did not like her at first. It took me time to get used to her, but I liked Prue. The co-hosts.
Oh my!
Taking out Mel and Sue and replacing them with Noel. Noel, I grew into.
Yeah.
That Matt Lucas, get him the fuck out of here. And actually, happy to say they did. He's moving on. He's being replaced with a black woman named Allison. I could not stand him
at all.
Could not stand him. 3 seasons, 3 years of watching him fuck that show up.
Yeah.
If I even saw him going up and talk to a baker, I would mute my TV.
Cringe.
It was awful.
Yeah, did not like him at all.
I did not see this
in
this episode. This is great.
I didn't either. Shout out to Anissa because she reminded me because I loathed that recast. No, like I said, when Noel came on, because it was Noel and Sue, or what was her name? Sandy at first, replacing Mel and Sue. And I was kind of like, who are these two, Noel and Sandy? When they changed the channels or the studios that were taping it. But I liked them. They were cool, especially Noel. Like I grew to like him. But yeah, taking Sandy out and replacing him with Matt, that was the worst fucking move ever. Absolutely. Thank God it's done. Can't wait for this new season now. Cannot wait. So, yeah, that was a recast. I hate is not strong enough of a word to describe that recast. I don't know what it is. I feel like David trying to find appropriate tiers for Eternals, where he just kept demoting it to different hell. But like that's how I am. I couldn't. I feel so relieved knowing he's gone. Like I can watch the show in peace again.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was not. Yeah.
Do you feel better getting that off your chest?
I think she does.
One more thing to get off my chest. That Paul Hollywood needs to stop giving out so many handshakes. It used to be a sacred thing. I feel like in one episode, I at least watched 10 handshakes. And I was like, look,
from Paul?
a little too much. Yes.
Yeah. He's getting way too friendly.
He knows
way too lenient.
He knows we like him now. So he knows that when we see the hand go, we're gonna be like, oh, but it's happening too often now.
Needs
Before
to
it was
bring.
like
He needs
maybe
to add a little sign or what's his name? What's that? The other British chef that's mean.
Gordon Ramsay.
Yeah, he's add a little Gordon back into his life because
Yeah, he's softening up, and I don't like it. I don't know where it's coming from.
you're right. He knows we like it. I feel like I even saw an episode where he was like he kind of joked about like giving like doing it like 'cause he knew that they were gonna like it, and I'm like, no,
Yeah, cut
they're
that
giving you
Yeah,
don't.
shit out.
yeah, I
Cut that
would
shit.
say he's a little bit more flirtatious with like the can and
Yeah,
everything. He definitely
absolutely.
is. That's from like stone cold Paul Hollywood to like a little bit of a flirt, and it's like,
Yeah,
hey Paul, this is a new vibe for you.
yeah. He's way too comfortable right now.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. Mhm.
Now this is the turn we were going to take.
This
But
is just gold. Listen to this. Matt said, and this is what happened to Matt. After a time, he felt that and I only read this because David, that's not here, is currently doing something, the same thing. After a time, he felt that he wanted to focus more on fantasy football league, writing a book and musical, and working on a TV series with his former blah, 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 instead of being on the Great British Baking Show.
Oh no.
fantasy football is ruining.
The surprise admission, that's the title of this article.
Case where Denise is happy that he's gone. I will say that.
I don't give a shit. Yeah, fuck you. You're off. I just don't bring fantasy football into this.
Wow.
He said fantasy football league utilizes what he has better than the Bake Off.
And then he's not talking about American football. He's talking about fucking soccer. Get out of here, you piece of shit. I'm
right.
glad he's gone.
You're right. He is talking about soccer.
Yeah,
That's true.
Ouch. That makes it even worse. I think that.
Oof.
Oh man.
Oh god. Oh,
Good riddance.
Wow. Wow. All right. All right. Well, before we get over to Denise and her surprise edition, any other final thoughts on castings?
Nope. But I finished my drink, so you can see the
I
alien.
did too.
That is pretty good.
There he is.
Look at him,
Right?
claw.
Adorable.
Ooh, the claw. Okay, that's all.
All right. Well, Denise, what was our surprise segment?
Okay, so I actually asked Chat GPT to recast some of our favorite superheroes because James Gunn is taking over the universe. We have no idea who's coming in to play who. Sometimes emotions can run high. So I said, okay, let's leave it to the bots to say, okay, here's who's going to cast, and we're not going to take the writers out of the equation or anything like that. So let's just narrow down the search and put out like new actors. Okay, so I asked ChatGPT, recast the Justice League for me, please. Here's what it said: Superman. Henry Cavill has been portraying Superman. Actually, so let's say this first. Sure, recasting the Justice League would be quite the task. It says it. However, it recasted it in 0.000017 seconds. So not quite the task for GPT because it did it in literally less than the blink of an eye. So
Okay.
here are some iconic characters and potential actors to consider. First, Superman. Henry Cavill has been portraying Superman, but if recasting is needed, which it sounds like it is. Oh, actually, no, we already picked a person. Chat GPT would have picked Army Hammer or Michael B. Jordan.
Well, it can't be Army
Hammer is. What?
Army Hammer is the. Okay, so Army Hammer, he was the Winklevoss twins in the Facebook movie. Came out a long time ago, but he's also the guy that very recently based out of Hollywood because he is a cannibal and an abuser. So.
What?
Oh.
Chat GPT?
Yeah. I guess I should say. I don't know, but texts are pretty clear.
Chat GTP is not very well versed in what's going on in our society, so I actually don't even. I'm looking at the movies he was in, and I just don't. I don't know. Can't say I know this person.
Okay.
Oh,
Well, next, moving
And
on.
he was
Batman.
Call Me by Your Name. That's the more. He was in Call Me by Your Name, I think, when all the and like that was finishing up being promoted when all the allegations started coming out about his
yeah.
abuse
I'm
and
looking at him.
cannibalism.
He does look familiar, but he's no Superman.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay. Moving on. Batman. Since actors like Ben Affleck and Robert Pattinson have played Batman, perhaps John Hamm or Carl Urban could be options. And
Okay.
let me fucking tell you, wait 1 second, because Anissa had to Google Carl Urban, and the pictures that came up, I would lose my shit if Carl Urban came up to me in a three-piece suit with millions of dollars in his bank account and said, "Hey, let's
I
go
mean,
donate some money to my
Okay.
latest trip." Like, he would be
Carl
like,
Urban as a Batman,
"Yes, right."
and
I
then
don't
John
think
Hamm as a Tim Burton Batman. A little comedy. He's got
Oh,
like
that's
Batman,
true.
I can't take it
with the
anymore.
right director, they each could
John
be good.
Hamm,
Oh man.
I don't think
Yeah.
that
ChatGPT.
ever do anything wrong in my eyes, to be honest.
No, I'm
No,
telling you, when I
That'd be
saw
a
he's
that,
the
badass
horse lord.
Batman.
he would be
Yeah,
a badass Batman.
do it,
Hmm.
Hmm. Hmm.
That's a good one.
doing it. He'd have
Oh
a
yeah.
lot of fun inflicting some violence.
Hmm.
He would.
Okay.
Those are
All right.
good.
Yeah. So next we have Wonder Woman. Gal Gadot has been Wonder Woman, but if needed, and it's fucking needed. James Gunn. I know I'm talking directly into my mic right now. Like, and I'm looking right into the camera. James Gunn is needed. It's needed. So if
I like
needed,
Gal.
I do too.
I don't think
But let's hear
she's
it.
bad.
We could do it.
Yeah. Who are the?
Charlize Theron or Emily
Okay.
Blunt. Absolutely Charlize. I know.
What is with Emily Blunt?
I don't know. It's on Emily Blunt, but definitely Charlize Theron. Absolutely, hands down. Okay, number 4, The Flash.
Yeah.
If Ezra Miller doesn't continue, Grant Gustin from the TV show or someone like Timothy Chalamet should be considered.
I just go with Grant. I mean Timothy. No. No. Willy Wonka. The Flash. I don't think so.
He didn't even look convincing as Willy Wonka.
No. He didn't. They didn't get that one right. Just stick with Grant.
Yeah,
Okay,
give him what he's owed.
give him what he's owed.
Yeah.
Aquaman. Jason Momoa has been Aquaman, and I mean, let's keep him there, really, right? But if a change is necessary, someone like Alexander Skarsgård might work.
Wait, which one of the Skarsgårds is he? True
I
Blood,
think
or is
he's
he
true.
it?
I think he's
No.
True Blood.
Okay, then yes.
Mm,
Look at you. You sat right up. You said yes.
yes.
Yes. I love Eric Reisman. I'm sorry. There's just nothing that I can do about that.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna apologize.
All right. Cyborg. Ray Fisher, portrayed
Mhm.
by Cyborg. Ray Fish. Ray. God, the Hennessy is kicking in. I apologize. Ray Fisher portrayed Cyborg, but alternatives could include actors like Aldous Hodge or John Boyega.
John
Mariah, you
Boy.
have
I love John Boyega, so he could do anything.
he absolutely could.
Who was the other person?
Aldous
I know I
Hodge.
need to. Who's Aldous Hodge?
Oh.
Mm,
But I don't know if Cyborg's character is supposed to be like funny. Like I feel like this is a kind of a silly actor, so I don't know.
Well, I mean, we know why Aldous Hodge wouldn't work because he was Hawkman in Black. Unless you are completely saying, okay, we are completely abandoning the Rock's version
Yeah.
of Black Adam, and Aldous Hodge could move into the cyborg role. But I personally, out of the two, feel like
Oh yeah.
John Boyega could fit it the
Oh
little
yeah.
better.
Yeah.
that man is a
Definitely.
self-taught watchmaker.
Aldous
Yes.
Hodge?
Yeah. Well, that's what Wikipedia says anyway. Could be lying.
Huh.
But I think John. I also feel that I'm so burned with Star Wars. I don't know. I feel like Ray
Like
Fisher
he's
was
a little
so
bit jaded.
burned. I know.
Yeah.
Fair was burned as cyborg. So it's the same kind of like give him what he's owed to Grant, but like I don't want to put John Boyega in a situation where he's going to get burned again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So we go with Aldous Hodge this round.
No, John.
Oh, okay. Mariah has spoken. Um,
That's fair.
Green Lantern. If a Green Lantern is added, actors like Idris Elba or
Mm.
John David Washington could be intriguing choices.
I
I don't
think
have strong feelings.
because John David
Green
Washington is
Lantern.
like, I wouldn't say less known actor, but I feel like that could be a good role. Like Idris Elba is just too maybe like known or too many things. I just don't see him really being like a superhero
Well, because
in
he also was
anything.
Suicide Squad, so like we're contaminating within the universe again.
Yeah, I don't.
Chris Evans playing Human Torch and then being Captain America.
Yeah. And then one other thing I asked ChatGPT to do with me, and this recast is near and dear to my heart, as you know, but I am not a fan of the MCU Taskmaster. So I said,
That's true.
ChatGPT, please recast the MCU Taskmaster for me. And I feel I need to apologize as a woman because at first they say, she was portrayed by such and such, and it gave me characters again like Charlize Theron. And I said, wait a minute, no. Recast it as a man, please. I apologize, but that was my search. So it said if Taskmaster were to be recast as a male in the MCU, an actor known for their physical prowess, combat skills, and versatility in portraying complex characters would be a great fit. Someone like Richard Armitage or Luke Evans might be able to bring some compelling and intense portrayal to the role, capturing the essence of Taskmaster's mimicry abilities and enigmatic presence. Keep in mind that casting decisions involve many factors, blah, 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 blah. So it's saying Luke Evans or Richard Armitage. And then earlier when I asked it and it actually closed out and I couldn't get to it, it actually said Jason Statham. It included Jason Statham also, which I can
Hmm.
see Jason playing Taskmaster. So Luke Evans,
Luke Evans.
Okay.
you would? I like Luke Evans.
I think I would go
Yeah.
with Luke Evans.
I
I've
also
seen
like
him,
Jason Statham though.
but yeah, I don't know. I just from what I've seen of Luke Evans, I feel like he would be able to take that on really well. He doesn't
I,
like. He's one of those
Yeah.
actors that I never really expect a lot, and then I see him, and I'm like, no, he nailed it. Like, so he's always like a pleasant surprise for me. I feel like that would be him with Taskmaster.
yeah, definitely him or Richard. I definitely would go with Luke.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
Nice.
just asked Chat Beach. I said, hey, just recast some of these characters for me, and I was curious to see what it came up with, and those were the results it came up with.
We should do that more. We should have a little chat GTP segment.
Okay.
See what the internet comes back.
See what
See what the
see
internet comes
what
back with.
the
I'm gonna
robot, the
tell you,
AI thinks.
it first when I first asked it, I forgot. Oh, I asked it to recast Black Panther. It did not.
What was it? What did they say?
It didn't. It did not
Oh, it
recast it.
couldn't.
It said nope. It said that is a difficult decision. That is up to the studios.
Whoa.
Basically, R.I.P. Chadwick Boseman. Like it didn't even try.
Wow.
Yeah. So you're right.
Yeah, that is.
Yeah.
It knew.
Yeah.
It did. Even ChatGPT didn't want part of that controversy.
No. No.
Wow, that
Yeah,
is
that was really
wild.
good. Yeah.
Oh, well, thanks for that, Denise. That was good. Well, I think we have come to the end of our discussion on recast, but we would love to hear from you. What recast
Yeah.
did you love? Did you hate? Did you think worked very well in universe? Do you think that they should all and just keep along? Because I think there are definitely more examples that we didn't come up with, but
Yeah.
we did what we could. I think
Yeah.
art's the closest for sure. including
Yeah.
Great
Get 'em
British
outta
Bake
here.
Off,
Get
which
'em
I
outta here.
did
Good
not
riddance.
see.
Man, that was
Did
a
not
good
see that
one.
coming.
No,
I know.
I can watch Great British again
Good one.
in peace.
Yeah.
Bake Off in peace. Thank God.
Wow.
So.
Didn't see it coming, but that was a really good addition. Join us, and I don't know what we have on deck. If Denise gets to it, sounds like Twilight.
Spooky season is coming. Oh my God, we got
Oh.
guys. We gotta just September. I feel like just stretch it out.
So
through
is
Christmas.
Twilight considered spooky season? Is that
It's vampires. Yeah, like we'll
okay?
make it work.
I
We'll make it work.
guess.
Spooky season coming.
Maybe we leave it to the fans. And we just have the fans say yes, we want Twilight, or no, we don't Twilight.
I don't
Denise
watch
does not
any
like that
horror,
idea.
so if we are gonna do some type of like horror
Let's do
movie
like
thing,
a
I've never
campy
seen
one.
any of them. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
let's do like a campy one. So, or in like Constantine and all the other.
ooh, okay, I do like Constantine.
Yeah, and I've never seen
I
it.
did too.
And it's Keanu Reeves, so I feel like it can't,
Yeah.
can't go wrong. So yeah, let's
A lot of people
Yeah.
just
Okay.
liked it. So,
Oh yeah.
all right, y'all. Well, thanks for. Mariah hit all of our socials on the top, but go ahead, circle back, go to @TheSpiritedNerds on all the things, and tell us what you think about recasting. And
Yep.
Yes,
again,
please.
just we'd love to hear your feedback on the episode went, what you'd like to hear from us in the future.
Yep.
You know, you are very welcome to troll David for taking tonight off for fantasy football
And for having
Like
Kirk
that.
Cousins as his
and for
main
having Kirk
quarterback.
Cousins.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, y'all. Well, thanks for joining us, and we'll see you
Thank
next time.
you. Bye.
Bye.